Welcome to Spybrary, by spy fans, for spy fans, with Shane Whaley. Shane dives into the mystery and intrigue of spy books and movies, both fact and fiction, delivering reviews and interviews with authors, historians, intelligence experts, and spy fans. He discusses everything from John le Carré, Len Dayton, Ian Fleming, Tom Clancy, Brad Thor, and many more. If you love spy books and movies, keep listening. This podcast is for you. This is Spybrary.
It's a brush pass, quick and simple.
You are listening to Brush Pass on Spybrary. Quick reviews sent in by spy fans for spy fans.
Transcription by Kate Atkinson. As a fan of Kate Atkinson's work, I was pleased to see her 2018 novel Transcription in some recent lists of recommended spy fiction. As far as I know, it's the only spy-themed book that she's written, her other novels being either literary fiction, such as Life After Life, or crime novels featuring Private Eye Jackson Brodie. Transcription mainly takes place during World War II and concerns fifth columnists, or Nazi sympathisers, within the UK. Other fiction in this era includes Our Friends in Berlin by Anthony Quinn, and one example of a non-fiction book on the topic is Hitler's British Traitors by Tim Tate. Transcription focuses on the story of Juliet Armstrong, recruited into MI5 in 1940 at age 18 after applying to join the Auxiliary Territorial Service, the women's branch of the British Army. At that time, her intelligence and independence make her a good candidate, though her humble origins are at odds with most of MI5's female administrative staff. Juliet's job is to transcribe recordings of meetings held by fifth columnists in West London, hence the title of the novel. Later, she is required to pose as a fifth columnist herself in order to find out more about their networks and spying activities. This takes her into a couple of tense and tricky situations, though this is not a typical pacey thriller. Many of the characters in the novel are based on real people. For example, the Mrs. Skyfe that Juliet meets is based on Ismay Ramsey, wife of Archibald Ramsey MP, founder of the infamous Right Club. The convener of the meetings that Juliet transcribes is based on real-life MI5 agent Eric Roberts, who posed as Gestapo agent Jack King. Juliet's boss, Percy Gibbons, is modelled on Maxwell Knight, a key MI5 controller who ran agents posing as communists as well as fascists. In the novel, there is a chaste romance between Juliet and Percy, a cover for his homosexuality, though Juliet doesn't realise this at first. This is a reflection on Maxwell Knight's and consummated romances and marriages, though according to biographer Henry Hemming, there is little evidence that he was actually gay. Characters based on Anthony Blunt and Guy Burgess also make an appearance. Juliet's MI5 activities during the early part of the war form the main part of the novel, but there are also sections in 1950, by which time she's a BBC producer, and also in 1981. In the 1950 section, we learn that Juliet did not cut off all her links with the security services when the war ended. We also realise that her well-developed ability to tell lies, evident from the start of the novel, may have taken her into darker territory. Her playful demeanour hides her deceitful nature, and at one point in the novel, Juliet wonders if she doesn't carry a fatal flaw inside her. Juliet's story is fascinating, and Kate Atkinson's research is thorough and her writing of a really high standard. I admired the book very much. But Juliet has a light-heartedness which I found rather grating. She acknowledges that she's flippant, maintaining that it's harder to be like that than to be earnest. Later in the novel, we begin to understand this approach, but that didn't help me empathise with her. I also found it hard to believe that such a young girl from a poor background would behave in such a flippant and rather superior way. Another minor quibble relates to the novel's jumps in time. I found them a bit of a distraction, though Kate Atkinson has used the strategy very well in other novels. Overall, I'd say that Transcription is worth reading to gain insight into a key era of espionage history, particularly if you appreciate literary fiction and a female focus. But the characters and some of the situations are not wholly believable.
Can you pull off a brush pass? Send in your review to shane@spybrary.com.
Thanks for listening to the Spybrary Podcast. You don't have to wait for the next episode. Join the conversation happening now at facebook.com/Spybrary and on Twitter @Spybrary.